Hi guys, welcome to your channel. I hope you're fine. Today we are at your service with another story from Leo Tolstoy. This video consists of 3 parts. In the first part, we read the story together, and in the second part, we will tell you the story in Persian. In the third part, I'll tell the summary of this story, which is more for English language students. I hope you enjoy watching the video. Do not forget to subscribe us before watching the video.
Little girls wiser than old man Easter was early that year. People had just stopped riding sleighs, snow lay around in barnyards, and rivulets were running. A whole puddle from a thawing manure pile had collected in an alleyway between 2 yards, and 2 little girls from different houses, one smaller and the other a little older, had gathered by the puddle to play. Both girls had been dressed by their mothers in new jumpers, the little one in dark blue, the bigger one in a yellow print, and both had kerchiefs wrapped around their heads. They had come out to the puddle right after the noon service, had shown each other their finery, and then begun to play. They thought it would be fun to splash around in the water. The younger one began to wade into the water with her shoes on, but the older one stopped her, saying, "Don't, Malasha, the mother will scold. Look, I'll take off my shoes. You take yours off, too." The girls took off their shoes, pulled up their skirts, and started wading toward each other. Malasha wasn't up to her ankle when she said, "It's deep, Akulyushka, I'm afraid. Go on. It won't get any deeper. Come straight toward me." When they got close to each other, Akulka said, "You, Malasha, don't splash me. Walk carefully." But no sooner had said this than Malasha plopped her foot into the water and spattered Akulka's jumper. Not only spattered the jumper, but water got into Akulka's eyes and nose. Akulka saw the spots on her clothes, got mad, swore at Malasha, and ran after her trying to hit her. Frightened, Malasha saw that she had done something bad. She tore from the puddle and ran after for home. Akulka's mother came by just then, saw that her daughter's jumper was spattered and her blouse muddy. "Wretch," she screamed, "where have you been mucking around?" "Malasha spattered me, on purpose." Akulka's mother then seized Malasha and swatted her on the back of her head. Malasha let out a howl that the whole street could hear, and then her mother came running up. "What is hitting my child for?" And she began to scream at her neighbor. Strong words followed strong words, and the women were soon swearing at each other in earnest. Now the menfolk came running up, and in no time a whole crowd had gathered, everyone screaming and swearing and no one listening to what the other said. They shouted and swore, someone pushed someone else, and a good fight was in the making when an old woman, Akulka's grandmother, stepped up. She made her way into the muthaks and tried to calm them. "What's got into you, brothers? Is this the time for fighting? You should be happy on a day like today, and look at the wickedness you've started." But no one paid any attention to the old woman. They nearly knocked her off her feet, and she wouldn't have had any effect on the crowd at all if it hadn't been for Akulka and Malasha. While the women were upbraiding each other, Akulka wiped her jumper clean and went back to the puddle. She picked up a stone and began gouging the earth, to make a channel so that the water would run off into the street. While she was scratching away, Malasha came up and began to help her, making a little ditch with a piece of wood. The muthaks were just about at each other's throats, but the girls had each made a little ditch so that the water ran off into the gutter. They threw a chip into the running water and it floated away toward where the grandmother was trying to separate the men. The girls came running along after the chip, one on one side, the other on the other. "Grab it, Malasha, grab it," shouted Akulka. Malasha tried to say something, but couldn't, she was laughing so hard. And the girls ran along, laughing at the chip as it bobbed in the water, and they ran right into the midst of the muthaks. Grandmother saw them and turned to the men, "You folks should fear God. Look, you've started a fight because of these 2 girls, but they've made up long ago _ look at the darlings, out of the goodness of their hearts they're playing again. They are wiser than you are. The mothers looked at the girls _ and they were ashamed. Then they laughed at themselves and broke up, each to his house. Unless you turn and become like a child, you will never enter the kingdom of heaven.
چیزی به ایده پاکی نمانده بود. دیگه کسی سورتمه سوار نمیشد و با وجود اینکه هنوز آثار برف در حیاط‌های پشتی پیدا بود، اما نهرهای جاری شده بودند. با آب شدن یخ، کپه کودی که در گذر بین دو خونه قرار داشت، یک گودال آب کثیف درست شده بود و دو دختر بچه که یکی کوچکتر و یکی یک کمی بزرگتر بود و هر یک متعلق به یکی از این دو خونه بودند، در نزدیکی گودال آب بازی می‌کردند. مادرانشون سارافانای نوشون رو به تن کرده بودن. دختر کوچکتر سارافان آبی تیره و دختر بزرگتر سارافان زرد رنگ که هر دوی اونها رو سریهای قرمز دور سرشون پیچیده بودن. اونا بلافاصله بعد از نهار برای نشاندن لباساشون به همدیگه از خونه بیرون رفتن و کنار گودال آب به بازی مشغول شدن. برای اونها جالبی بود که آب رو به هر طرف میخوان بپاچن. دختر بچه کوچیکتر میخواست با کفشش از میان آب بگذره، اما دختر بچه بزرگتر اون رو متوقف کرد و گفت این کار نکن ملیسا، مامانت عصبانی میشه. ببین من کفشامو در میارم، تا هم کفشاتو در بیار. دخترها کفششون رو در بردن و دامنهایشون رو بالا گرفتن و شروع کردن به شلب شلب راه رفتن در آبهای کثیف. ملیسا تا قوزک پا در آب رفته بود. به دوستش نگاه کرد و گفت اینجا خیلی گوده آکیولکا، من میترسم. آکیولکا گفت بیا، گودتر از این نمیشه، همینطوری بیا سمت من. همین که به هم نزدیک شدن آکیولکا گفت هی تو ملیسا، اینقدر روی من آب نپاش، درست راه برو. هنوز حرف اون تموم نشده بود که ملیسا با پاش در آب تالاب تالاب کرد و تمام سارافان آکیولکا گلی شد. نه فقط سارافانش، بلکه کل صورت اون با لکه‌های گل پوشیده شده بود. آکیولکا عصبانی شد و شروع کرد به فحش دادن و سپس به سمت او حمله ور شد. ملیسا از اینکه میدید کار بدی انجام داده فوق‌العاده ترسیده بود. از آب بیرون اومد و به سمت خونه هجوم برد. مادر آکیولکا سر به زنگار رسید و سارافان بلوز دخترش رو گلی دید. با عصبانیت فریاد زد دختر بد، کجا لباستو کثیف کردی؟ ملیسا عمدن روی من آب پاچید مامان. مادر آکیولکا ملیسا رو گرفت و یک پسگردنی محکم به اون زد. ملیسا چنان جیغ کشید که تمام محله صدایش رو شنیدن و مامانش سر و سیمه از خونه بیرون اومد. اون شروع کرد به فریاد زدن سر زن همسایه‌اش چرا بچه منو میزنی؟ کلمات رکیک به دنبال هم سرازیر میشدند و خیلی زود دو زن با شدت هرچه تمامتر به هم دیگه ناسزا میگفتند. مردها از راه رسیدند و بعد از اون طولی نکشید که عده زیادی جمع شدند. هر یک از اونها بیان که به حرف دیگری گوش کنه فریاد میزد و فحاشی میکرد. اونا فریاد میزدند و ناسزا میگفتند. در همین حین یکی از آنان دیگری رو هل داد و یک دعوای تمام عیار به وجود اومد. وقتی مادر بزرگ آکیولکا از راه رسید محکم پایش رو به زمین کوبید. اون خود رو میون دعوا کشوند و تلاش کرد همه رو آروم کنه. گفت چه اتفاقی برای شما برادران افتاده؟ آیا الان زمان دعواست؟ شما باید در چنین روزی شاد باشید، نه اینکه دعوا را بندازید. هیچکس توجه به پیرزن نکرد. اونو هل دادن. اگر به خاطر ملیسا و آکیولکا نبود گفتگوی اون هیچ تأثیری در جمعیت عصبانی نداشت. آنگاه که زنان مشغول ملامت کردن همدیگه بودن، آکیولکا سارافانش رو تمیز کرد و برای بازی به گودال آب برگشت. اون با یک سنگ شروع کرد به کندن زمین. می‌خواست یه چوب کوچیک بکنه تا با چوبی که داشتن بازی کنه. همون موقع که مشغول کندن چوب کوچیک بود، ملیسا از راه رسید و برای کمک کردن به اون با یک تیکه چوب دیگه شروع به کندن زمین کرد. چیزی نمونده بود که مردها خرخره همدیگر رو بگیرن، اما دخترها هر کدوم یک جوی کوچیک کندند و آب در میان آن مسیر جاری شد. اونا یک تیکه چوب رو داخل آب انداختن و چوب شناکنان به سمت مادر بزرگ که تلاش میکرد مردا رو از هم جدا کنه رفت. هر کدوم از دخترها در یک طرف جوی کوچیک به دنبال چوب میدویدن. آکیولکا فریاد زد بگیرش ملیسا، بگیرش. ملیسا سعی میکرد حرفی بزنه اما از شدت خنده نمیتونست. دخترها همونطور که میخندیدن به دنبال چوبی که در آب شناور شده بود میدویدند و درست به سمت جمعیت عصبانی میرسیدند. مادر بزرگ که اونها رو دید پس رو به مردها گفت شما باید از خدا بترسید. شما این دعوا رو به خاطر این بچه‌ها شروع کردید، اما اونا مدت‌هاست که با همدیگه آشتی کردن. به این فرشته‌های دوست داشتنی نگاه کنید. به خاطر مهربونی قلبشون خیلی زود دوباره دارن با همدیگه بازی میکنن. اونا از شما باهوش‌ترن. همه به دخترها نگاه کردند و شرمنده شدن. بعد از اون به خودشون خندیدن و هر یک از اونها به خونه‌شون رفتن.
Summary of Little Girls Wiser Than Old Men. There was a puddle with water by snow, but it was dirty water. Two little girls were both friends and neighbors, for whom their mothers had bought jumpers. The little girl had a blue jumper and the older girl had a yellow one. After lunch, they went to the puddle with their clothes. Malasha told Akalyushka that I'm afraid. She told her not to be afraid and come to me as she was. Malasha sprinkles mud water on the Akalyushka's jumper. When Akalyushka saw mud stains on her clothes, she got angry and started cursing. Akalyushka's mother suddenly arrived, and when she saw her daughter, she argued with her about why she had soiled her clothes. Akalyushka said that Malasha did it. Akalyushka's mother grabbed Malasha and slapped her on the back of the neck. Suddenly, she screamed and their voices were heard all over the place. Malasha's mother heard about it and became nervous that Akalyushka's mother had beaten her daughter. Not only did they fight, but they also cursed each other. Their quarrel escalated and became very awful. There was an old woman there who tried to calm them down but failed. Until they saw that the two girls were playing with each other and they had made a river through the same pit and were happy. The old woman said, "Stop, see your daughters. They had problems and quarrels with each other and now they are friends with each other and they no longer have problems. Now, why are you two arguing? Your daughters are smarter than you." When mothers see their daughters happy, realizing their mistake, they apologized to each other and then went home.
I hope you enjoyed watching this story. Don't forget to support us by subscribing. Goodbye and have a nice time.